Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome back to Beyond the Summit 2. We're here with the Mars TV Dota Elite Invitational. I'm Zyori. This here is Mott. We've got LGD versus IG coming up for our first best of one tonight. Mott, what's the good word, buddy?
I was expecting to be, off tonight doing some nice TI for EU casting, but then it looks like Ben abandoned you, Merlini not here, so I'm filling in for him, and
he was on the schedule, but what's funny is I knocked on his door to wake him up, and I could have sworn I heard him mumble, "Okay, 5 minutes." Turns out he wasn't there at all. So I don't know what was going on with that, but apparently I messed up.
No, it's all right. I mean,
well, you were here, so you fixed it.
I mean, there's the thing was, even if I said no, which I wasn't going to say no, even if I said no, there was like 100 other casters in this freaking house who'd be like, yeah, sure, let's do it, why not?
That's true. That's a good point.
I stepped up to the plate and I said, let's do it. LGD versus IG, we're already underway in the draft, and two teams that have played together pretty recently in WPCAs. LGD, they went 1-1 with them, obviously. LGD, last night, they were able to secure their spot in the TI4. The main stage, I guess you could say, the group stage.
It's exciting, huh? Yeah, we'll go LGD. We'll see if they can carry some of this momentum into this series here. Mott, we're going to have to adjust your mic, though. It's poking your eyeball. You might want to scoot it outwards and then downwards, get it closer to that,
These mics, man.
That mouth of yours. Yeah, positioning is important with the hypercardioids, if you know what I'm,
there we go.
If you know what I'm saying.
I got it, I think.
There you go.
Excellent.
Mott, you're killing it, dude. You're killing it. Let's look at this draft, man. What do we have going on here? LGD going to be on the dire side, and we've got Invictus Gaming on our Radiant. What's the good word here, Mott?
This is no surprise for IG. They really love playing DK. They love getting it for R430. They would like the Invoker, and I was talking. Roland talked a little bit earlier. They said that Luo likes to play the Invoker in the side lane, and they do this kind of global strategy. But LGD pick it up, and there's no surprise there. They have some strong Invoker players on LGD. Depends on who they want to play it with. They've got the Rubik as well, which probably should be DDC. He played it very solidly last night. In that series against CIS. I love really solid Rubik players. They're probably my favorite people to watch. Like, I was talking to you a bit before this. I was talking to Roland as well. Like, FY from VG is probably my favorite Chinese player, just favorite player in general, because he plays such a solid Rubik. He just makes plays that you don't think can happen. So I'm really glad that they go for this pickup right now. They've got 1 minute left of reserve time. They banned out the Pugna already because teams are starting to realize, like, hey, if we get DK and Pugna together, we could just start pushing towers down like crazy. So they don't want to have to deal with that.
Hey, what do you know? It's very true. DK, I think of him right now as particularly strong against the tree, but he's been banned out here as well by Invictus Gaming. But like you mentioned, a pretty standard opener. LGD's bans, a little more interesting. The Pugna, as you mentioned, and now the Earthshaker coming out. That Earthshaker AA combo, something to be feared. We've definitely seen it a time or two. Clockwork, the third pick here for LGD to go with the Rubik and Invoker.
Yeah, the Clockwork's really solid. We've seen Yao play it time and time again. He's got a really strong Clockwork, so there's no surprise that he picks it up. And in conjunction with the Invoker, if you go for Clockwork, Invoker goes Quas Exor, all of a sudden you have Sunstrikes that you've got to deal with Rubik on top of that telekinesis into the cogs, which is something you have to keep in mind. IG, they have Ancient Apparition, they have DK as well. You talked about the Earthshaker ban. IG, Chuan actually plays a really mean Earthshaker, and I think he's got really solid Fisher blocks as well. It's just he could get up that Blink Dagger super early, can go for some Blink initiations with that Echo Slam. They don't want to have to deal with that right now, so now we'll see IG. They'll go for something else here, maybe pick up Chen or Enchantress potentially for Chuan, who has that 4-player. The 5-player coming out will be Faith, obviously. I honestly, I'm not sure what they're going to go for in terms of their offlane. Centaur is available if they want to go for that. I know YYF likes to play the Centaur from time and time again, so we'll see if they pick that up. So far, pretty standard draft for both teams. Nothing super out of the ordinary, which is okay. It's fine. We got a Mirana. No surprise there.
There's your Mirana. I for one am glad to see the Brewmaster banned out here. Getting a little tie. I got my fill of brew during the Chinese.
That's enough Brewmaster.
Yeah, but I don't mind seeing a little Mirana here. We've seen her a little bit less, but she is still hot to trot. And, well, they've got a DK stun. Might line up for some arrows. We'll be curious to see if IG end up running her as a support or a core. One of the great things about Mirana is she has that flexibility. Yeah. And still a little bit hard to tell.
Yeah, I think with Mirana, you want to have something to set up that stun. If you go for, like, a Bane Mirana combo, you could definitely use her as a support. In this scenario, I think they need another support to kind of line something up with Mirana. I have a feeling it's going to be a core, which I'm not a big fan of, but with the DK, I feel like it makes a lot of sense because she takes a long time to get online. DK, not so much. He only takes like 1 or 2 items, and then obviously his Elder Dragon form to start pushing down towers, and then it's rough to deal with. So I feel like it's probably going to be a core Mirana, but I'm not ready to say, okay, yes, it's 100% core Mirana yet. I really don't know. So for LGD, they have a minute left on their reserve time. They need support as well as a carry here. I don't think they'll do a side lane Invoker, but I've been wrong about that before, and I've seen LGD actually do side lane Invoker a bit, so who knows? We'll see.
Invoker can do okay against DK in the mid lane, sort of a wash to some degree. But it will be a Visage for LGD, so all right, there you go. One of few teams still running Visage very consistently, but we saw them do it to much avail throughout the Chinese TI4 qualifier just a couple days ago. Not surprised to see that pair with their Rubik.
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, Rubik telekinesis into, well, whatever you want to do with the Visage. Especially when you get your Visage birds, like telekinesis into Visage Rubik Stun or Visage Bird Stun is pretty solid. Then you talk about Visage and how, I think you were the one that mentioned that he's like still king of the tri-lane, especially like tri-lane versus tri-lane. Like he's really solid. Like Soul Assumption is such a good ability for that. Like it's so very good. But we'll see what they pair it up with here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a decent, you know, I guess. I don't think it's going to be something that's super hard carry, like an AM or something like that, because that kind of ruins, I feel like, the tri-lane. They can go aggro. There's no lifestealer, which would have been huge for them right now, but there are other options for them.
Okay, they'll grab Tidehunter with their 4th pick, probably their off-laner, but you never know. Still some flexibility there. We've seen position 4 Tides, off-lane Maranas, that kind of stuff. AA Marana is a really scary tri-lane in terms of kill power, especially if they grab another range support. Someone like a Rubik would have worked perfectly here, but... tri-lane on tri-lane scenario could be very interesting with a Visage versus AA, 2 heroes that I kind of consider masters of the tri-lane, if you will. So could be exciting. Wraith King final ban from LGD. I think that's smart. Would have paired nicely with Mirana and the AA.
Yeah, that probably would have been a support. I think Wraith King. Roland's buzzing in my ear. He's saying Morphling right now, and yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like that actually works out really well.
What a bold call, Roland. Someone might pick Morphling in this patch.
Who would have thought Morphling would have been picked? But yeah.
Thanks. As Roland walks in here with like 5 pieces of pizza just stacked on a plate with no regard for the casters who have yet to get their
I'm really
fill.
jealous. I'm really jealous. Can you secure me like 4 slices of pizza, Roland?
Yeah, seriously. You better go put some pizza aside before it's all gone, and poor Zyori and Mott go downstairs and it's empty. Woo, Luna!
Luna coming out for LGD Gaming. I like this a bit. You could still run her aggressively. It's not as solid, I think, as a Morphling in aggressive tri-lane, but Luna's still a really good pick here. I've seen also Lin could do work on Luna. I've seen it before, honestly, and as that carry, Luna's really solid. You get your Glaives going pretty early on. The build used to be you max out your Lucent Beam and then you max out your Lunar Blessing, but more teams are like, okay, let's just max out the Lucent Beam, let's put 2 points from the Lunar Blessing and then like max our Glaives from there. And you just start farming like crazy.
Yeah.
You'll get like a really early like Treads, Helm of the Dominator, Midas if you're feeling really greedy, Yasha if you're feeling even more greedy, and then finish that BKB right after that Yasha.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want to do here for the Luna. There's a lot of early aggression in teamfight from IG, including the Titan to Ravage. Then a Slark coming out for IG here, which, yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work out. This might have to be dual lanes, or they're going to use Slark off lane with Tidehunter Faith in the tri-lane, which is very questionable to me.
Yeah, so I agree. The position 4 Tidehunter it's not my favorite. I think he really benefits from a little bit of farm priority early on, get that big Blink Dagger, and in that mid game you can do some serious work with those Ravages. But we'll see exactly how IG choose to do it. And, well, this will be our first game of the night as we load in. Look at all that purple glow. Oh, those compendiums are shining loud and proud here, Mott. It's that time of the year.
It's a special time of the year, especially for these players. They're going over to TI4, which will be in Seattle. They're excited for that, I'm sure. But
yeah, definitely.
Mean, right now, we got a game underway.
Tide rocking the genuine Tidehunter Blink Dagger. I like it. I approve. I'm digging on these cosmetics here. Not a Squiddles, but a close second.
I didn't even know they had a Tide Blink cosmetic. I think there's one for Axe. I didn't know there was one for Tide. That's really cool.
It's
like
pretty sick, and he's got a little eel. Oh, it's an electric eel. Look, it lights up electric. That's awesome. I've never seen that one before.
That's pretty nifty.
Oh, man. I forgot to make my minimap icons big. I'm going to have to suffer the handicap. You know, magnifying glass here. All right, let's introduce some rosters. We've got IG Invictus Gaming on the Radiant side. YYF will be playing on the Slark in the solo safe lane. It will be Ferrari 430 playing on the Dragonite in the solo mid. It will be an aggro tri, Faith on the Tidehunter, Chuan playing on the Ancient Apparition, and it will be XI playing on the Mirana. That's Luo, is that correct?
That is Luo.
Luo. I always forget. XI, Luo. Thanks, Roland. Thanks. Just rub it in. Just rub it in. All right. Mott, you're up.
And on the side of LGD, your TI4 qualifying champions for the Chinese qualifiers. It is DD on the Rubik. We'll see Rabbit or Zhao Tuji on the Luna. We'll have DDC. He'll be on the Visage. In the mid lane, it's going to be Lin. He'll be on the Invoker. And to round it all out in that off lane, it's going to be Yao on the Clockwork. Already setting up for this Clockwork creep block here. Is going to go ahead and just get these creeps stacked into this area here. get his tower, I guess, equilibrium in his favor and go from there. So he's also actually going to grab an early double damage rune, which is nice to have. I don't know if he's going to be able to use it too effectively. He is against, right now, solo safe lane YYF, so it's going to be try versus try here. IG with this try lane, they could do a bit of damage. You talked about how Ancient Apparition pairs up with the Mirana. With Faith as well, Gush early on here, they're going to be aggressive. This is a bit of damage here, but at the same time, you've got to deal with Soul Assumption potentially. You have Lunar Blessing, so the extra right click coming out for LGD as well. This could go either way, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm not really crazy about this IG tri lane, to be honest. They don't have a stun to line up for the easy Sacred Arrows. Sure, they've got Cold Feet, but nothing to really set that up. Gush, yeah, it's got a slow. The armor reduction is okay, but doesn't really synergize particularly well with the Chilling Touch. Tide being melee as the second support also doesn't really synergize particularly well with Chilling Touch. Doubtful he'll be able to get all of those auto attacks off. So. Yeah. We'll see. I favor the lane with the Visage a little bit here, but at the end of the day, it's not about killing power, it's about farming power. Which carry will get more out of the farm, and given that Luna is the harder carry over the Mirana, even a break-even will kind of favor LGD a little bit. So yeah. we'll see how it goes up here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like, honestly, I agree. The Tidehunter's kind of iffy to me, and the thing is, they're just going to be shooting arrows and hoping they get hits. I mean, they're really just going to try to right-click down LGD, but LGD probably won't be in a really bad position. We talked about positioning yesterday with DDC and DD. They're very solid in their positioning. They're really never out of position, and that's kind of what won them the series against CIS as they went 3-1. Rabbit, Zhao really, really solid. Also, he's got 7 tangos, so even if he gets harassed a bit, he'd be able to regen up pretty quickly. He's also got a Ring of Protection, probably going to go for that early Ring of Akila coming out. So, honestly, I think this Triland, especially once it gets level 2 and 3, is going to be really solid for LGD. With IG right now, I'm not sure. I mean, you're going to have Anchor Smash, you're going to have Gush, but you're not going to be able to get up close with that with Faith. Chuan's going to be like, okay, I got an extra point in Chilling Touch, hooray. And, yeah. I mean, maybe Starstorm, but, like, the thing is, Telekinesis, Fade Bolt, and then you have got Grave Chill and Soul Assumption, and then you have Lunar Blessing and Lucent Beam. That's a lot of nuke damage that you have to deal with here for LGD.
Yeah, and it's not only the damage from the Soul Assumption, but also the spam ability once a skirmish breaks out. Only a 4-second cooldown. The damage adds up so quickly. But we will resume here, and I feel like having Slark in this safe lane role with all this farm priority puts some pressure onto YYF to really be a tempo controller into this mid game when Mirana's still trying to get that initial farm. And that's one of the areas where a solo Tidehunter, I think, really could have been advantageous. And also tied against Clockwork. That's really hard for the Clockwork. The Anchor Smash makes it very difficult for him to last hit effectively.
Yep.
So that's just another thing that could have gone the way of IG had they put him here in the safe lane. Slark doing pretty well against Clock, but it's an even trade. For the most part, they should both be able to farm to their heart's content.
I feel like, and YYF's going for Essence Shift early on here, so he wants to be able to harass Yao pretty easily, and he will. I mean, Yao is a melee hero, so he's going to have to go up and right-click, so YYF can just run at him and right-click using his Essence Shift, and then if he gets too close, he could pounce the Dark Pact on him and just pretty much kill Yao. Even if Yao gets him caught in the Battery Assault and the Cogs.
A second point in Essence Shift, even. That's a little bit different.
I've seen this a lot from Chinese people, but yeah, Battery Assault's going to go. YYF is actually taking a bit of damage here. He doesn't have any mana to pounce. He's got mana in about a second here, so he can pounce away if he needs to. He's actually going to die here potentially. Oh my god! He pounced on top of him! No!
Pounced right in the cogs. Yao draws the first blood, but just a disaster from YYF. I think there's a chance he could have survived that one had he pounced over the tree line. But he will take a tumble to get things started. LGD with an early edge. Ferrari 430 will grab that haste rune here at the bottom position. But, oh man. That's just a disaster.
That's not good. You should be doing a bit better as a Slark hero up against the Clockwork. That should not happen. You should be able to get away. He just didn't have any mana for pounce. And I'm not sure how he didn't have any mana. He might have used it earlier, but like, you need to make sure you have mana for that. Otherwise, that becomes an issue. And
I guess he was just spamming the pounces. Yeah, he doesn't even have Dark Pact, so he doesn't have that really spammable spell that usually sucks up your mana pool. Very interesting. Maybe Yao also burned a lot of it from the cogs. We see him being pretty effective on that front.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm sure Yao didn't make it easy for him. But now Clockwork with a huge edge, almost level 6, and has himself Power Treads up already. Up in the top lane. Looks like some action may break out. Chilling Touch applied to the IG heroes, but they won't find a skirmish, and both sides will back out. But again, down bottom, cogs and pounce come, and both sides will walk away. This will get a lot easier for the Clockwork, and an early level 6 on the Clockwork means Yao might be able to move around a little bit and start assisting the other lanes as well.
Yeah, and the thing is that both heroes need to do this. YYF, I mean, Slark's not that big of a farming hero. Yes, you can try to farm up your Lothars and then go from there, your Shadowblade, but if he can contribute some ganks as well, would be really big for IG, because, I mean, they have this DK mid. He's pretty much going to stay mid for the most part. He's going to try to take this tower down with his Elder Dragon form. Lin will rotate probably because he's a Quas Wex Invoker. He doesn't need to stay in lane like a Quas Exhort does to try to get levels and get a Midas or anything like that. So I would not be surprised to see Lin just kind of move around and try to get something going with his Tornado and EMP. If he gets a rune, it would be even better. Already, though, control coming out for IG in terms of rune control. DK is going to grab a haste rune. He's going to come down bottom. There is this dire ward here, so Yao's going to spot him out, at least for the most part. And now Lin is going to have to, or Ferrari 430 rather, is going to have to make his way back mid.
Yeah, as soon as he sees that Clockwork back out, recognizes it's warded and heads right back to mid lane, utilizing that haste rune. Very well done, and really just a good batch of RNG coming for IG there. We did see Lin actually guess the top rune there for the 4-minute, and it spawned bottom. So a little bit unlucky, but still doing pretty well in the mid lane. He is actually the last hit leader, 24-9 on that Invoker, and DK 14-4. So actually a pretty decent edge going the way of Lin early on in this lane.
Yeah, I mean with the Invoker, especially if you get the early null talisman, you should have a pretty decent time here. DK can just breathe fire, and once he gets more points in it, he can start keeping up. But he's not a hero that's going to win in terms of the CS battle. He's going to take a tornado hit, just a little bit of harass coming up from Lin right now. But again, Ferrari's not going to be somebody that's going to be winning this lane. He's going to be doing pretty much as even as possible. He'll get level 6, then he'll start working on getting that tower to at least sort of like half health, and especially once the Invoker rotates out of lane, which he should. He also has his phase boost now, so Invoker can win this lane even harder. He can start using his Cold Snap a little bit more effectively here, and he can even use his Tornado EMP combo if he really wants a kill, but it's difficult to get a solo kill against the DK because of Dragon Blood and how tanky he is, so...
Yeah, and with a bottle crowing and rune control, also difficult to harass him out of lane. Up top, IG, seeming like they may want to get aggressive. Tide is now level 3, as is Chuan. 2 points on that Chilling Touch, 1 in Cold Feet, a pretty standard AA build. We have seen some Ancient Apparitions prefer an earlier point in Ice Vortex, especially if there's someone sneaky so you can scout around in the trees, but they'll just go for the damage here. Luo takes a bit of harass from the Rubik Fade Bolt, but it seems like a fairly ineffective tri-lane from IG overall. The farm across the carry is pretty even, 19 on the Luna, 20 on the Mirana, but Mirana's not that hard carry the same way Luna is. I feel like with a Mirana in a tri-lane, you have a little more pressure to try and set up kills because you need that extra little pick-me-up to carry yourself into the mid-game.
Yeah, and also the thing is, too, when you're in aggressive tri-lane, it's your job to essentially not only just, like, harass the Luna and try to shut her farm down, but also get kills. Because if you're not getting kills, you're not getting experience on your supports. Like, they're still level 3 on Faith, they're still level 3 on Chuan, which is not bad, but the thing is, LGD, they have this camp to pull to, so, like, they can always just use this camp. Meanwhile, Yao getting a solo kill down bottom against YYF again. This time it was the hookshot used, so...
Yeah, everything. Yep. 4 points in that battery assault. If you can trap him in the cogs, pretty easy. I missed that one as well, but... not terribly surprising, given that Yao already had a pretty big edge from that first one, and now this is just a total disaster for the Slark. Clockwork is the highest level in the game, #1 on net worth by a pretty big margin, way out farming the Slark, actually almost doubling him in overall farm right now, and wow, CS starting to go in Clockwork's favor also. This is going to be rough for YYF. His farm is low.
It's not only going to be rough for YYF, it's going to be rough for the entire IG side because they're not winning any lanes. I mean, you talk about the Invoker mid. He's dominating this lane, and he should be. I mean, he's at 38 last hits. He's going to be going for a Magic Wand next, no surprise there. He's already got level 7, so getting some early points out of Wex, and he'll be able to use that Tornado and EMP to really, really effective standards. DD's getting levels, Rabbit's getting, Zhao getting levels, DDC. They're all level 4 right now. If you get quick level 6s on the Rubik and on the Visage, those are 2 really important abilities to come out. The Familiars as well as that Spell Steal, really big. Spell Steal up against IG's, obviously, Faith here. And the Tide Hunter getting Ravage is going to be huge. So
there's a lot of big spells to seal this game, honestly. Every hero has something that is at least okay for Rubik to grab. So really a good game for the Rubik. And like you mentioned, 2 supports that really need a lot of experience, and LGD doing well in this tri-lane thus far. There will be a rotation from IG. Faith and Chuan smoked up, moving about the mid lane. Brown boots on both of them, but Tide only level 3. They don't have a huge amount of kill power across them, even though Chuan has that point in Cold Feet. There just isn't a lot of setup to make it happen, except for that DK Dragon Tail. Lin goes in onto the DK. Hookshot from the high ground. Yao joins the party. That'll be a dead DK. Now Faith comes in. Throws out a gush onto Yao. Cold Feet will proc. That secures the stun, but in comes DD. The Grand Magus has joined the party. Telekinesis back onto Faith. Kraken Shell helping him out a little bit, and they will disengage. But LGD, they get another kill up on the scoreboard here, making it 3-0 as we pass that 8.5-minute mark.
Yeah, that's a really solid gank. You talked about Yao roaming early on here. He was about level 8 when he started that gank with the hookshot coming in. Really solid hookshot right on the mark there, and obviously Lin coming in to help out there with the Tornado EMP, getting the kill. Really solid kill. Shutting that DK down early is pretty important. Now he's missing out on CS as well as experience and potential tower hits with that Elder Dragon form. He did do a lot of work on this Tier 1 tower. If you look at the dire side Tier 1 tower mid, it's taken a lot of damage, and that's mostly from the DK alone. Now up top, Luo might get caught out. Lucent Beam, the leap away, but nice telekinesis from DD. Bring back. Now the Starstorm going, but not enough damage. Zhao and Visage combining up to get the kill. That's the sole assumption from DDC. Really well played from DD with that telekinesis.
Yeah, very nicely done. They timed that just about perfectly, and even the Visage had the Grave Chill up right as he leaped, so they still had a window of opportunity to try and shut him down. Ferrari 430 taking a lot of damage in the mid lane while that was going on, but LGD with some serious momentum here, Mott, 4-0, and a solid 3,000 gold and experience lead set up for LGD already. They're grouped up in the top lane, starting to pressure this Tier 1 tower. Still have a ways to go before they bring it down, but starting to pressure it pretty hard nonetheless, and now we're feeling the effects of that lost laning phase for IG. Their two supports desperately underleveled, tied, really low impact right now. No Ravage, not much else he can do.
Yeah, I mean, think about if they grabbed another support pick rather than the Tide and they had the offlane Tide. He would have level 6 right now. He would have Ravage. He could be effective in these fights, be able to get kills as well. It just seems like, I don't know, they kind of just picked themselves into a corner by grabbing that Slark. The Slark has done nothing. He's got treads now. He's got 1,000 gold in the bank, so he might get towards that Shadow Blade. He's gotten some room to farm now that Yao's rotated out a couple of times. He's at 51 CS, so he's actually at the second most CS in the game. YYF is doing a bit better considering he died twice, and he's going to be the hero, I think, that really gets IG back into this game, but we'll see. And there is faith. He's going to be Invis right now, level 4. He did grab that Invis rune, so no Ravage to use. He's just going to scout around and just kind of be a nuisance here. But other than that, everybody's sort of missing in.
Still no vision on the Luna. This would be a really good opportunity to try and secure an arrow. Trying to be that mobile ward right now. If they could land a long-range arrow, maybe they could find some plausible initiation to follow up on, but it doesn't look like it, and Faith will back out as his invisibility is about to expire. Like you said, YYF finding some decent recovery farm, about 1,400 gold. I reckon he'll be looking for an early Shadow Blade pickup so they can move around and find somebody with some aggressive potential and start putting some kills up on the board. I'll be interested to see what build DK goes for as well. He's got his power treads up, has himself a bracer, could just grab drums, but I would guess that Ferrari will just move into a BKB first item.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. BKB, you can go Shadow Blade if you want to be a bit greedier and try to get a couple pickoff kills. But
I think they should get a Shadow Blade on one or the other, the DK or the Slark.
Yes, I agree with you.
Not both, but I think they need one just for some kind of aggressive potential. Invoker, though, he'll grab the mech here at the 11-minute mark.
I think also because they are against the Invoker that you go for BKB early in the DK. Yeah. It makes the most sense. And Slark shouldn't get caught out by some of that stuff with Shadow Dance and all of that stuff that he has, Dark Pact included. So he can get away with that greedier kind of Shadow Blade build, which is pretty much what every single Slark does, I think, for the most part. But either way, honestly, they need to start finding farm. Slark has found that, but they're going to take this Tier 1 tower top. And this is going to be a really nice influx of farm coming out. Luna's going to pick up a Midas as well, so not going for Helm of the Dominator, just going to go for a Midas instead at 12 minutes, a bit late, but...
Yeah, interesting that he opted for the power treads before the Midas. I guess he was scared of the kill potential from the IG tri-lane, but they were never even really close. A little bit unnecessary, still a decently timed Midas, and he's had enough space, plus that tower kill now will make him number 3 on net worth overall. So at the end of the day, that's a pretty darn happy Luna. Slark doing things a little differently will actually opt for the Blink Dagger first over the Shadow Blade.
A lot of people like this build. I've seen it a couple of times in the American qualifiers and just in the ADL in general, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's really good for positioning, and it's really nice to be that initiator, but I think a Shadow Blade does a little bit more, but I guess if you have Moonlight Shadow, he's going to go on DDC top. He's going to go right in there. There's going to be the pounce as well as the Dark Pact. DDC about to fall. Soul Assumption doing damage, but not nearly enough.
Yeah, so good Moonlight Shadow gank there from IG. That'll get them on the board at least. Visage Familiar is coming in, doing a little bit of damage, but he'll pounce back to safety. And he'll be just fine.
Yeah, so that's just, I guess, I mean, they didn't even need the Blink Dagger there for the Slark. He just runs in and... Well, much to Merlini's bane, Yao's going to pick up a Vanguard at 13 minutes on a Clockwork, which is fine. 13-minute Clockwork is, it's at least the time of that you're like, okay, you can get away with a Clockwork. I'm not a big fan of it myself. I really would like a Blade Mail or like even a Drum would be fine.
To be fair, he's their only frontliner here. He is their only melee hero. Luna, not quite melee, but low range. They need somebody tanky in the front lines. So I see what Yao was thinking here. Looking for the hook shot. Does pump fake it a little bit. And trying to bait out the leap, but this is going to be tricky.
It's like, all right, that's fine.
The arrow actually off the mark. And Clockwork, no, it will hit him, pardon me. The graphic just flies by. Yao might still survive. Yes, he will. And they get that kill on Slark. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Rubik secured a kill onto the Dragonite with the help of Visage and Invoker. So a 2-for-0 across the map going the way of IG, but a nice turnaround up in the top lane.
YYF was not expecting that amount of burst damage. He's like, listen, I'll be fine. I'm not going to use my Shadow Dance at all. I'll be okay. It's going to be great. He gets battery assaulted, and then a Lucent Beam comes in and hits him in the face, and he's just like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, crap. Okay, that's not good.
And they'll translate that kill in the mid as well as the kill up top into a tier 1 tower kill, which pushes IG further ahead, 2 to 1 in total tower count. I don't know why I thought that arrow missed. It was just off to the side, and the hitbox just clipped him.
Yeah, because like usually the arrow stops if you hit him, but that was not the case. Ooh, wow.
Tidehunter getting wrecked by Lin in mid lane. YYF now joining the party, connects with a pounce, and Ferrari comes in there with a stun. Ghost Walk, not happening.
He has no invoke.
And yeah, that's unfortunate. They'll secure a kill onto the Invoker, and holy crap, this thing just popped up. There we go. Oof. Didn't want that to happen. So IG find a recovery kill at least on the Invoker, still 2 to 7. He hung around a little bit too long, and pretty sizable lead for LGD. About 5,500 gold and 4,000 experience.
The thing is, you talked about it, like, even if this game does go late and even if somehow IG get back into it, like, they have the Luna to fall back on, who can become, like, a monster in terms of how much farm Jack2G can get. That's the thing. They have no semi-carry in the DK. They don't have a Slark either, so there's a bit more late-game potential on IG's side, but the thing is they have to get farm for all three of those heroes, whereas you can start having initiations from Clockwork, and then obviously Visage kind of becomes a semi-carry. Later on when you get your Aghanim Scepter, you can even go for an Assault Cuirass if you're feeling a little bit greedy. Yeah. The Invoker could start turning into a bit of a carry when he gets more Exhort. So they have this potential, and they have the dire side advantage, which you see them using to their advantage right now, going for this Roshan, which is 15 minutes of the game with the Medallion. Very smart play coming up, and Rubik already has a Blink Dagger as a support. Dear Lord.
Wow. Yeah, Rubik's been doing some work. He is the most farmed of the 4 supports, so he'll use that for a positioning tool here. You mentioned that Medallion picked up on Visage, makes this a very easy Rosh, and we'll see what they do with the Aegis here. I reckon it'll be the Luna. Yep, sure will. Rabbit picks it up. Ice Blast will connect, but too little, too late, and LGD just walk back to safety. They don't even concede a tower in exchange. Just a free, good old-fashioned, uncontested Rosh. So they'll get another little gold pick-me-up here. It appears Invoker working on a Force Staff following his mech, and we'll grab that recipe now and bring it over via the courier. So he's definitely coming online, going much more of a support, or sort of support-style utility Quaswex Invoker, but I like the choice to grab an early mech. Hasn't been a huge amount of early fighting, but it gives LGD that option if IG want to bring the fight to them. Tide just now hitting level 6, so that mech may actually come in handy.
Level 6 at 60 minutes is not what you want to see from your supports. Like, that's not good. Like, that tri-lane failed so miserably top, and I don't know what they were thinking with that aggressive tri-lane. Like, listen, we're gonna throw 3 heroes that don't really work that well with each other, and that's this top lane, and hopefully we'll get a kill, I guess, and if it goes bad, then oh well.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, like
I don't know. I don't know what the plan was, and this seems to be what happens when you have a position 4 Tide like this. He is so low impact. He just needs, first of all, he needs experience to get Ravage. That's a no-brainer. But he needs a positioning tool to get off those really big Ravages that can turn games around in the mid game.
Yeah.
The thing that really makes it rough from my perspective is that he could have smashed this Clockwork down bottom. Right now, IG could be a lot less worried about this Clockwork hookshotting in and being really tanky with that Vanguard. But instead, he had a field day down bottom against that Slark. Yeah,
and I don't know. Yao was a great player, though. So, honestly, like, the fact that he did that well bottom is not that's surprising me. I feel like he really... He's a very strong player. Yes, Roland, he is very strong. He's got the Vanguard now in line, which we talked about. I'm not a fan of the Vanguard, but, like, the Cloak's fine. The Cloak makes sense, but I don't know why you get a Vanguard if you're going to get, like a Hooded Defiance later into a pipe. Like, there's...
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm not crazy about the Vanguard, but like I said, he's their initiator and their only melee hero, their only frontliner. Yeah. So he needs something tanky. I think a Blade Mail could be pretty solid this game since he'll be up in their faces, and especially just against a Ravage and all that burst damage. If you can try and time it right and actually do some pretty serious work. So we'll see. Luna really starting to come online, though. She has a decent amount of farm. That Hand of Midas has already paid for itself. 2,400 gold, and that a security blanket in the Aegis of the Immortal. As she heads down bottom. They haven't started stacking Ancients yet on the side of LGD, which is something they could be doing a little bit better to get that Luna's farm going on, but that's okay. Kind of nitpicking here as Familiars defend the top tier 2.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it feels like IG are just kind of floundering around trying to get something done here. They do smoke up the Sea Gank, which Faith has one, and they'll go for a Ravage probably with that, I'd imagine, but they'll lose the tier 1 tower bottom unless they want to TP and rotate. There's no glyph to defend it, so I feel like this is just going to be another free tower for LGD, which is kind of the story of this game. And David and Men talked about it so much last night in that game. They talked about how LGD were just so good at defending their own towers and making sure they get other towers as well without losing their own. So the fact that this is happening kind of just shows that LGD, they're on top of their game right now. With all the games they played in the qualifiers, they're feeling very comfortable. They only lost, I think, 1 game, actually 2 games outright, I believe. So Really solid player from LGD. And again, they're getting farm. I mean, you look at the gold right now. The gold graph is almost 7,500 in favor of LGD at 17 minutes, which is a bit of a lead here for LGD. All they need to do right now is secure the farm for the late game, get some more items for this potential Invoker, maybe 1 or 2 more items for the Clockwork, and then get Luna up for core items. And she's going this extraordinarily greedy build, so they're playing for the late game right now. She went for the Helmet, the Dominator, the Midas. I would not be surprised to see a Yasha come up next for Zhao.
This is the greediest build you can go for. I guess the only thing greedier is getting the Midas faster, but onto brown boots. But in terms of item trajectory, the Midas into Helm of the Dominator, you can dominate a creep, start stacking up the Ancients by yourself, so you don't have to waste the time of your precious supports, and you just go farm. And also the lifesteal lets you just farm the jungle so quickly. Has 2 points in the bouncy Moonglaves. So, yeah, Rabbit is having no trouble farming away here. He's really in free farm heaven right now, complete run of the Dire Jungle, while the rest of his team moves around and postures aggressively to create some space for him. Even just chipping at this tier 2 tower in the mid. IG just haven't been able to do anything yet. They still haven't popped that smoke. AA is finally level 6, has himself an Urn. DK level 11 with an Ogre Club, but not really that close to his BKB. Marana with a Mithril Hammer. Probably just going BKB first, but we'll see where she goes. Whatever it is, BKB, Desolator, Maelstrom, still not really that close to finishing it up.
Yeah, no, she's got a while before she hits that item up. And they have an Aegis on Luna right now, so they can be aggressive. But YYF is going to jump in right on top of Lynn. The arrow's going to fly through. It's going to miss. Now there's going to be the Tornado coming through. The Shadow Dance. YYF has to back off. G. Luo taking some damage. Now the Eclipse coming through. 430 taking the brunt of the damage. He's about to fall. The Soul Assumption. Is it enough? No. Yao chasing after him. The Bottle Charge. The Moonlight Shadow. Do they have detection? It looks like no. They've got to turn back on the tower. YYF pouncing on Lynn right now. Lynn about to fall. YYF no Shadow Dance. They use the dust. They want this kill. They're going to get it. 2-for-1 trade. LGD not done yet potentially, but a very solid fight going their way. Yes, they lost the Invoker, but a great Eclipse coming out from Zhao on that Luna.
Yeah, that was a very convincing fight for LGD. It's only a 1-for-2 exchange, but IG had so many low-health heroes, and they'll lose the Tier 2 tower. A lot of momentum going the way of IGG, even a LGD, even a buyback coming from the Slark. The AA ultimate will connect, but a wasted buyback from the Slark. They won't get anything out of it. That is just unfortunate. LGD now about 10,000 gold ahead as that graph updates. Things are starting to look a little bit more rough for Invictus Gaming.
Honestly, like, that buyback hurts so much for Slark because he was getting close to another item, and then that death into buyback is really bad, and he didn't do anything with it. And
absolutely nothing.
And he was leading the CS for a while too. I think he still is at this point. So the fact that he's kind of just at a Blink Dagger and a Drum, he dies, he buys back, is really questionable. There is that pipe pickup now coming off the Clockwork. I don't know why you go for a pipe and for a Vanguard, but that's fine. You want to be ultra defensive, you want to play it safe, that's fine. Yeah, Force Staff is good. Aghanim Scepter's fine. Blade Mail is good. You have so many items, but who am I to judge on your item builds? You're Yao, so.
It's okay. It's not too bad. I mean, the pipe is really useful here, and I see why he wanted the initial Vanguard, something just to up that effective HP pool, and well, we'll see where he goes from here. Down bottom, YYF just blinking back to safety. Luo, he'll TP up top, and Yao, I was thinking he may throw a blind hook shot there, but won't risk it, and everyone will escape. So 3-9 in 21 minutes. Clockwork 4-0-2. He's been involved in a good number of these kills, and he's just had a good time this game. More space being created for Luna, who has indeed picked up a Yasha. So following your item suggestions here, Mod, and going ultra greed mode.
Yeah, this is, like, again, it's as greedy as you get, but he's going to need to complete that BKB, like, now. Because guess what? That Blink Dagger for Tidehunter's online. If there's one thing that could turn this game around, it's a huge Blink Ravage coming out. So
yeah,
they'll have to be very careful. The thing is also, though, Rubik has a Blink Dagger of his own, so
he has a Blink to steal. They already have a pipe, so no BKBs. But if you get the pipe up before Ravage, that definitely turns things around a little bit. So, and Tide, not very high level. It's only a level 1 Ravage, so the damage is definitely not as much as it could be. I agree with you that a Ravage could be something to turn this game around, but a 21-minute Blink, level 7 Tide feels like too little too late.
It's like level 1 Ravage, like, alright, that's just not going to do as much damage.
And what is it setting up for? Okay, maybe you get a level 1 Ice Blast, but Marana and Slark aren't really hard hitters right now. DK will grab himself a BKB, so that's good news. They chip at this tier 3 down bottom, but LGD don't force the issue, and they will back out to safety here.
The Aegis just got reclaimed, so they're like, listen, we don't want to deal with it now. And once we have another Aegis, we'll go and we'll take a fight. LGD, they play very methodical. Not as methodical as a team like, say, CIS, but they make sure that when they have the advantage, they pressure it. When they know they can sit back and farm and kind of wait for the next stages, they will. They'll make sure they play methodical enough to get their items up. BKB will be done soon for Zhao2G, then they'll probably fight. Maybe even wait for Manta style if you're really feeling, you know, just kind of practical, I guess. So
well, it is a 4-man smoke from Invictus Gaming. They start off near the Radiant Ancients. They'll head up top to try and find Lin. YYF has the ultimate pop. Moonlight Shadow comes in. They may wrap around on the Rubik. He'll blink back to safety, and now he'll get initiated upon by the Slark. 2 fights kind of breaking out at once here. Dragonite, of course, will finish off Luna on the other side of the camera. I was following the wrong tangent. In comes your hook shot, though. They'll connect onto YYF. They'll be able to bring him down. That's a 1-for-1 to get things started, but still an exchange favoring IG, I think. Ferrari, he'll get telekinesed. Rubik goes down in the mix. There's your Ravage. Comes out onto the Pipe's targets. They'll secure the kill onto Lin. It's a 1-for-3 for IG. The Pipe not coming in handy right there. And maybe can they bring down Ferrari 430? His BKB will expire. Rocket Flare connects. The Visage Familiar is trying to chip away at him. Knocks off the positive earn charges, but they just don't have the damage. It will be a great exchange for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, that was really, really smart for them, too. They made sure they took the Rubik down before they blinked in and Ravaged there. They wanted to make sure he was not available to have that Ravage steal. So that was really important for IG. Once they got that Luna kill also, they kind of said, listen, let's just go hard. Let's try to finish everybody off. They lost YYF, which is their main damage dealer / main initiator, but not a big deal. Like, that 1-for-3 trade is huge for them. And for LGD, I think Luna could have bought back. Like, Luna could have bought back and been in that fight immediately, but she decided just to go ahead and buy essentially that almost full BKB at the tail end of the fight. So
I didn't see, but I think he may have bought his pieces before he died. He didn't. He saved it.
Yeah,
oh, okay. So he actually had the buyback.
Yeah, he did, but he decided against it, which is like, that's fine. I understand if you want to do that, but
he could have there as well because this tower was standing, so it's not like he didn't have somewhere to TP to. He could have TP'd in, been right here, and back in the fight. So I agree. That probably would have been a worthy buyback. But still, Rabbit is the #1 farmer by a decent margin, the only one to break that 10K net worth barrier. And he's about halfway to that BKB recipe, so it will still kind of work out for him. Dragonite now moving towards a Shadow Blade with that Claymore picked up. And Mirana has gone for a BKB now, so not the Maelstrom, but going a little more defensive to get things started.
Yeah, they want to be able to fight early. They want to be able to deal with this Invoker. Invoker is going to be the biggest issue. The supports are going to get absolutely teared apart by this Invoker's Tornado EMP and, well, pretty much anything else that he's got. He has full Wex now, so he'll be able to start building into that Exhort, which means Meatball, it means Alacrity, it means Sunstrike, it means Forge Spirits, it means all these really, really good abilities that you generally see in Quas Exhort Invokers, but not so much in Quas Wex. I mean, once you start getting to that level 17 mark, that's really what you want. You might even go for an Aghanim Scepter later on this game. Maybe not. Maybe go for a bit more mobility like a Blink Dagger. We've seen Orchid in the past, which I'm surprised they didn't go for as he's Quaswick this game. But then again, you could kind of just Dark Pack that off if you're going up for the Slark. So a lot of options for the Invoker this game, and I like the way he's playing as well.
Yeah, I like this counter-warding action here. Visage comes down. He's now picked up a gem, and I was just going to mention, I think LGD are overdue for some serious detection to try and deal with the Moonlight Shadow, especially with that Shadow Blade coming out on DK. They don't know that's going to be his next item choice. He's keeping the Claymore in the stash back home, but I like that pickup. They will get this counter ward down on their Ancients. A noble effort from IG to try and block it, but LGD, they're one step ahead, and they will free that up for Luna. Speaking of Luna, that's a BKB online, level 14. Rabbit is now in fighting shape, ready to rock and roll, and still farming his little heart out. So LGD grouping up. It looks like their sights are set on this last remaining outer tower for IG, which is the tier 2 up top.
Yeah, they'll be able to get Roche too very soon. With all these towers going and with the push going in top off to go to defend that for IG, at least somebody will. And they're pushing in bottom now, which is I think really smart for IG. They're just trying to force everyone back here. But the thing is, once LGD are done pushing top and bottom, they'll be able to take Roche on once it's up. So. Also, like you talked about, BKB is now done for Luna. Her next item choice probably going to be that Manta Towel, and then Butterfly and Satanic to round it out. Very standard stuff coming up for Luna, but it's the best way to kind of get the game won. So,
oh, IG, they don't burn their glyph. Oh, they do burn the glyph, pardon me. Doesn't buy them enough time, though. Now they'll get initiated upon as LGD come back to make the defense. Slark taking heavy damage, but he will make it back to safety. So IG end up getting nothing out of this trade. They use their glyph. They do force out the dire glyph, but very little damage comes onto that tier 2, and LGD are now grouping up and trying to get in position to take a fight here. Rabbit.
No, Zhao2G. You can't afford to die here.
He'll move into the Roche pit.
I think.
They're a little bit scared, and Tornado flies through off the mark. YYF now the target of choice. He will pop the ultimate. Moonlight Shadow flies. Remember, there is a gem on the Visage. but they just won't be in position. The Slark's a little too elusive, and he will make it back to safety. Looks like he's going for a BKB of his own. Like you mentioned, though, Moonlight Shadow down. LGD can capitalize on their dire advantage and move safely into the Roche.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, now that Moonlight Shadow is down in Shadow Dance as well, they're probably not going to contest this rush round. They're just going to let it go for free here, which means another age is up for Dota2, and this time they'll probably get a bit more done with it. They'll probably go high ground. I don't expect them just to farm for another, like, 5 minutes. They really don't need to. They have the items to be effective. They'll get a Manta Style here and pretty much, like, another minute or two. Once you have that item, then you start going for that high ground. So they'll push up the lanes first and foremost. They'll make sure that they can kind of have their map control covered here. They put a ward here over on the cliff, but getting some ward coverage in the opposing team's jungle is really important. They have a nice ward near the Radiant side secret shop coming out as well, which gives them decent vision. They know everyone's kind of top for IG as well. But for the most part, it's just going to be a bit more farming and then like a minute or two of that, and then they're just going to go for the high ground, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, my friend. I think LGD are in complete fighting shape and ready to take some fights. Rubik will hop forward. He grabs Faith. That tornado barely off the mark. Ferrari comes forward, does drop a stun on the DDC, pops his BKB, wants to bring down this Visage, will get the kill on the Familiars. Comes out the Ravage, and this gem may hit the deck. No, they're keeping DDC alive, at least for now. Gem is down, gets picked up by Faith, but now he's going to fall. And Gem's still on the ground. Lin gets stunned up. This is just chaos here outside of the Radiant Ancients, but it looks like IG will come out ahead. LGD on the back foot, starting to make their escape, and they'll try and chase down Lin. Arrow flies through, will hit him from long range, and that will secure the kill. Another great exchange for IG, a 1 for 3. Rabbit just wasn't in position there. Didn't use his BKB nor the Eclipse. Does finish off his Manta, but IG not only take that fight, but they also take the gem.
Yeah, Luo just picked it up too. That's really problematic. Like that, the fight, like 3 people dying, you can say, okay, that's fine. At least Luna's farming. But when you lose the gem, then that's a big deal on top of it all. So now they have to wait. That gem's certainly not ready to be bought again, at least for another 5 minutes, it looks like. So they have to deal without having that vision or detection, at least from the Gem of True side. And like the entire time, Dota2's like over here in the Radiant jungle. He's like, listen, guys. I just want to fight, or farm, rather.
Poke shot onto Ferrari, pops the Shadow Blade, and, well, Yao's got no detection, so that will be an easy defense there for the Dragon Knight. He'll be just fine.
Yeah, honestly, like, without detection, they can't get those kills, pretty much, especially with the Shadow Blade now for the Dragon Knight. Like, even if Moonlight Shadow's down, it's going to be very difficult. So, Dota2, I feel like he really wanted to farm that Manta Style before coming to that fight. He's like, listen, guys, you'll be fine. Give them Manta Style. I'll be up there in a second. But the thing is, like, when they lost that gem, they lost a lot there. So now they have to either wait for the gem to be up again, rather, and go from there, or they have to just kind of say, listen, we're just going to get Dust and Sentries and try to push in without it, and hopefully it'll work out. I think they can fight still, but I'm not sure. Now there's a BKB up on the Slark here. There still is a huge gold lead coming out for LGD. It's stuck at about 10,000 at this point. They have this lead. Do they capitalize on it is the question.
Yeah, IG doing very well in experience, though, actually taking a minor experience edge. Not a huge deal at this stage of the game, but showing that the gold graph perhaps a bit misleading. I think LGD can still take a fight, especially with Luna at level 16 now, that Eclipse is a bit more potent, but they just have to initiate it properly. In that last fight, Rabbit simply wasn't in a good position, and he wasn't really there. She's their big damage dealer. You need the Luna laying in those right clicks, bouncing those glaives around, and also you need those Lucent Beams. Without that damage, LGD just can't take these fights. So it's just more a matter of positioning and having all of your teammates there, I think.
Yeah, it was just a bad engagement, I think, for LGD.
But we'll see. Now that Stark has a BKB, Luna's Eclipse a little bit less effective, and of course losing the gem, as we've already talked about quite a bit, does really hurt. 5-man smoke.
Yep.
Where's IG headed here, Mott? Uh-oh, will they bump into DDC? Ward comes down. Maybe they'll just counter it. Okay, they get a sentry down. Tornado starts things off, and that will be enough to force IG back.
They saw that tornado come out. They're like, nope, we're out of here. We're not dealing with that right now. They're getting ready to go again, though. The arrow's going to fly. It's going to hit on an Ancient Creep, so they're like, all right, well, that didn't hit. How about the Ice Blast? Is that going to be on the mark? No, it hits Dota2, doing a bit of damage. Again, he has the Aegis, and he can regen up. They're going to go in. Hook shot in from Yao. Now there's going to be the Moonlight Shadow. Do they have detection, though? For R430. Now the Dragon Tail Lin getting caught out the Ravage. Can they steal it? Can they do anything right now? Everyone getting low here for LGD, but only one down. That's Faith. Rabbit trying to go hard here. His BKB already popped. YYF. He's taking some damage as well. Yao trying to fight here with his battery. Salt, the cogs are up. It's on to 2. Saw Assumption, Ferrari 430. No more BKB. Slark is down as well. LGD, they get 4. They're not done yet. It's a 1-for-4 trade. The body blocks from DD. Nice fade bolt. He's got Breathe Fire as well. He's going to use it. Chuan getting chased down. Rabbit on that mount. He's got the haste going. Chuan about to fall. Dunzo. Triple kill for Rabbit. Zhao Tuji going in hard. And now they're going to go high ground.
Wow.
Easy.
Easy indeed. LGD coming out way ahead. The Aegis on Rabbit couldn't have been used at a better time. He popped his BKB first, which a lot of times can bite you in the ass, but well worth it. Got off a beautiful ultimate, dropped the tide as soon as his Ravage came out, and they just took that fight by brute force. Looking at the buyback status, there are a few available. The DK and Mirana, namely. We'll see if they want to burn him here. Glyph comes out straight away. There is a fair bit of pushing power from LGD with that Lunar Blessing and the Manta. Tier 3 tower falling very quickly. Will get taken out. Mirana's back on the board. Slark, no buyback available. DK, he has it, but no ultimate, so not an ideal hero for buyback. IG will let the racks fall, melee down, and range will go down shortly after. LGD bringing it back here, Mott, securing a racks lead.
That was just really patient play from LGD. Yao jump again, and then the 2-man cogs at the end of the fight as well to secure those guys in there just to make sure that even after the BKBs, they could kill them. And now Yao gets his Aghanim Scepter up as well. Rabbit respawned from the Aegis. He came back up. He just right-clicked everybody down and was able to kill pretty much everybody. So really good, solid stuff there. They were able to, I think, pipe up for the most part against that Ravage. I'm not 100% sure if that was the case, but it was looking okay for IG. They were able to take one down, but they just lost the fight in general. So they take a set of racks now. No buybacks were used, but yeah, also that's also very
a big
important
thing.
Yes,
it's true.
Yes.
And now DK has moved into a Sange, so I don't know if this will be a Halberd or an SNY coming out, but I don't know. I'm partial to the Halberd. I'm an SNY hater. I think we've talked about this off stream, but we'll see what he goes for here. They need damage though, so maybe an SNY is appropriate here, just so the DK can start packing a bit of a punch.
I think it's going to be a Halberd. They just want to be able to make sure that
disarm that Luna.
Yeah, once her BKB is done, just disarm her. And Halberds, I think, is a solid choice coming out for Ferrari 430. You can go on SNY, but it's kind of a snowballing item. It's really good when you're in the lead early on and you want to finish the game
34
early.
minutes, not really
Not
ideal.
a good SNY timing, no.
Oh, Rabbit. He'll get initiated on by Ferrari. He does have an Elder Dragon form here. And Tide coming in. There's your Ravage. Slark joining the party as well. Rabbit never had the opportunity to BKB, just completely stun-locked. And nice kill for IG, slowing down
really
Luna's
solid.
farm a little bit. She does have a buyback in case they try and pressure hard, and also has an Eagle Song. So it will be a Butterfly coming out before too long. If she doesn't buy back here, that Eagle Song will turn into a Butterfly after a Midas rotation, I think. So
Yes.
Also, Scythe of Ice up on the Invoker. Big items coming out for LGD now. And important to note, the Ravage is down, so IG can still try and push here, but that's a big, long cooldown unavailable.
Yeah, I mean, like, if Luna buys back right now and they get caught in a bad fight, they're just going to die. They don't have Ravage. I think that was Elder Dragon form that just got stolen. It was, but YYF's going in. BKB pounces on DD, getting caught out. The Deafening Blast coming through. Shadow Dance being used as well now. Yao getting caught by an arrow and cold feet. He's going to fall. He might have to buy back. I'm not sure if he has it. Luna will buy back, but that's the only buyback they have. They're going to pipe up now. They force the buyback. IG back off.
Dragon on Dragon.
Really good.
This could get kinky. Mott Chuan, he gets turned into a piggy. Arrow flies through, connects onto the Invoker. They still want to bring down Chuan, and they'll be able to do it. Fade Bolt to finish him off. That will be the end of it. You don't get to see that Dragon on Dragon. Rubik's like the baby dragon here.
Yeah,
he's
he's
so cute.
kind of small. But
That's adorable. But
yeah.
all right, Clockwork for the in Ancient Apparition, not too bad, but they force the buyback on Luna, and that's what really hurts right there.
Yes.
Eats into our savings, but also it's on cooldown for 5 minutes now.
Yeah, that was that was exactly what IG needed. Even if they lost Chuan, they're like, that's fine, we'll take that. And I think they also got the tier 2 tower top as well, which is really big. And getting Yao is kind of a consolation prize as well. So the thing is here, forcing Luna to buy back is really important, because then you have one bad fight and all of a sudden you're just like, well, that's not what we wanted. I mean, yes, we have a set of racks, but now it's going to be LGD kind of just farming for the next 5 minutes, making sure that Zhao Tuji doesn't get caught out again. Probably he'll get his Butterfly first and foremost, then he'll save it for buyback, and he'll go from there. They'll probably wait till the next stages as well, which will be in about...
Ooh, it's a quick respawn,
yeah, that
too.
is very fast. Wow.
Yeah, that's good news. Hey, yeah, the nice thing here is that Rabbit doesn't have to worry about pulling for buyback. He can definitely complete that Butterfly and then start pulling up from there. But I think you're right. LGD will play this a little bit more defensively. Even with third Roche, if they get Aegis and Cheese, they may want to wait until Luna's buyback is a little bit closer to coming up. And not a lot of pressure on them right now. I think they have a pretty decent carry advantage. Their Luna is super farmed. Mirana, that's her first big ticket item following the BKB. It's a Monkey King bar. So she'll now be able to cut through the evasion of Luna. Steps in the right direction, but IG still lacking on overall damage output, I think.
I mean, she's got treads. She doesn't have the phase, which is nice. So she has a bit more attack speed than usual when you see the Mirana going for phase early on. The problem is she doesn't really have enough attack speed. Like, she's doing damage, but is it really enough damage? And the answer is no. Not when Luna's probably going to get not only the butterfly like you talked about, but obviously the satanic on top of that. She has the BKB. She's got Manta Style. So like a Maelstrom would be good to go for at this point in time for the Mirana, but it's going to be a bit late. Once it gets there.
Look at this from LGD. We were both thinking that they'd be a little more defensive here, but they go straight in. Faith gets slowed. They find Ferrari, and there is a courier flying overhead. They won't go for it. Instead, they'll settle for the Dragon Knight. He pops BKB and Elder Dragon form. Hook shot to interrupt the TP home, and that will be a successful smoke gang. Great timing for it as well. Roche just respawning. We'll see where LGD go from here. They may just move down bottom and force the buyback, or they could go into Roche. Either would be good.
Yeah, they're going to force the buyback first and foremost, I think, for DK. And after that buyback comes out, they might back off. They could try to stay if they want to, but DK does have a buyback. The thing is, he doesn't have Elder Dragon form like you talked about, so even if he buys back, he might not be super effective. Yeah, exactly. So YYF's going to try to defend this on his own. The hook shot coming through. There's the buyback for the DK. They're going to fight anyways. They don't want to go for this. They want to go for the fight and obviously just get the kill, essentially. Eclipse did not do anything there. Now they've got to back off, I think.
They get the tier 3. That's good. That's sizable. And they force out the glyph. Now Ferrari spamming that fire, but Pipe absorbs most of the damage. Just a great exchange for LGD. They get a tier 3 tower, and they force the DK buyback, and it pretty much just costs them the Eclipse. That was the only big cooldown used there.
Yeah.
So pretty solid for LGD overall.
Yeah, they're going to rotate to Roche right now. They'll get an easy Roshan kill, and then they'll look to finish this game off. The butterfly done, like we talked about for Luna. She probably could sell. Did she sell or might have said she did? She'll probably sell the TP scroll and get the Aegis, and then have the cheese go to Yao, I think.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate. Yao, their frontliner. They may give the cheese to Lin, but he's been sitting in the back line, so maybe not. Yep, cheese will go to Clockwork. So good call there. Interesting pickup on the Rubik. That is a Blink Force Staff. Now Ag's Scepter. Oh boy, is this exciting.
Yeah, the thing is though is like there's no spells to steal that are like.
You know what? You're right. I got really excited, but that's basically just for the AA ultimate. Is that?
It's the AA ultimate and the 5-second cooldown. That's the only reason. And 5-second cooldown though is really freaking good though.
That's true. That's true.
But it's cool anytime you see it. But they're gonna try to find.
I guess the cast range really helps as well.
Ferrari hexed up, arrow flying through. They miss. No, it actually connects on DD, but the pipe will actually just save most of the damage. She's gonna get ice blasted as well, but. I mean, that's a what, level 2 ice blast with no Aghanim Scepter ult, so it's not that bad.
And Luna picks up the Satanic recipe now, and still pulling up for the Reaver itself. Comes by that coming up in about a minute 20, so this is that time where Rabbit may want to just go back and farm defensively and make sure he has enough for buyback. Then LGD should be able to swoop around and pressure that bottom lane and probably seal the deal before too long here. Ancient's not being stacked on the Dire side, but Luna still farming quite well. Always fun to see Ags on Rubik, though. It's just not an item that you get to see too often.
No. I mean, I love the item, to be honest.
Yeah, Ruby just doesn't get that much farm priority, usually.
It's like, he's such a playmaker, man. Like, he's one of the biggest, I feel like, supports in the later games, just because of, like, the spells that you can steal and, like, how effective you can be. Like, he's just fun to watch, too.
It's true. He is. I like me some Rubik. No doubt about it. Now, DK, what is he working on here? It looks like it's just a casual Sange for now. He's picked up a Javelin. So, I guess he's looking to go into an MKB pronto to try and cut through the evasion of Luna.
Yeah, it's either that or a Basher. I don't know. MKB is like a really bold pickup for the DK.
Yeah, and even just the casual Sange is bleh.
I feel like he was trying to maybe get in towards an SNY or Halberd early on in the game. Just like, listen, that's not going to happen. We need to deal with this Luna now. We need to get an MKB or like a Basher or something. But like, I don't really know. The Javelin, did he sell it? No, it's still in the courier. So I don't really know what he's thinking about going right now. He's got a couple of item options here. Satanic is now done for the Luna, so that's going to be kind of an issue.
Yeah, no buyback at all. It is off cooldown now, but 1,200 gold short. But of course, he has the Aegis, so Rabbit's okay.
I've got a feeling Dota2 is going to be able to farm that up in no time, with just going down essentially the bottom lane and even getting a couple of fights going their way. So this is going to be more likely than not the push to end the game. There's no rat coming out from IG that can't TP around and either like cut the wave or just keep pushing with like a Fury on or something like that. YYF is doing his damnedest to just kind of just take the wave and bring it back and push out this top lane as much as possible. He's got a Basher now, which is nice, but they need like an Abyssal, and maybe that's what the DK is going for. But at the same time, an Abyssal on YYF is going to be huge as well. So It's actually going to be the halberd completed now.
Now he buys a halberd after picking up a javelin. This is an interesting trajectory from Ferrari, but maybe seeing this oncoming push saying, well, I might not ever get the MKB at this rate, so I need the items now to try and hold our racks. This is a last stand, potentially. So I like the thought process, I think, from the DK. Lunar just goes straight up to the high ground, though. Chipping away at these ranged racks. No glyph available. Will pop the Manta, gets stunned up by the DK, and we'll be okay for now. These racks are dead. IG have to take a fight. And they won't do it. Yeah, Alacrity out. Oh, it's just so potent. That's the second lane of racks down, and IG on the back foot. This is do or die time.
There's 2 buybacks, and they're both on LGD's side right now. So if IG lose like 1 or 2 of their core heroes, this game's probably over. So Rabbit's going to go to town in this top tier 3 tower. They might find an initiation with Yao with the hookshot. I mean, he's got the Aghanim Scepter, so running in and just using it will be nice to have. The Dragon Tail's going to go on Yao right now. He's actually taking a lot of damage here. Well, maybe not. YYF jumping in. The Eclipse going through as well. YYF actually BKB'd up. He already used his Shadow Dance, though. The Lunar Blessing, the Lucent Beam are going to start doing work here, but now he's just going to run away. And this is going to be the last set of racks. Jiao2G, but a big Ravage going through. Did he steal it? No, he got Anchor Smash instead. The Fable, the Telekinesis on Ferrari 430. YYF getting caught out as well. He's going to fall down. There's the Aegis for Luna. Ferrari 430, he pops the BKB. Now, Luo, Soul Assumption, is it going to connect? Yes, but no, he's got the BKB on right now. Ferrari 430 getting chased down. He'll have to back up as well. This is going to be Mega Creeps and potentially GG.
Yep, there it is. GG, well played. Nothing IG can do at this point. They proc the Aegis, but LGD with a superior lead and just superior team fight at the end of the day. Well played by both sides, but LGD, they shut down Invictus Gaming, and just some questionable lane decisions. I think a lot of it comes back to that Slark in the bottom lane struggling against the Clockwork. They had the Tide, and we talked about it to death in the laning phase. Tide's just not an ideal position for.
No, you're looking at that lane and you're kind of just like scratching your head if you're LGD. Like, you're really gonna lane us? You're gonna lane against us like that? Like, is that what you want to do exactly? So, a bit questionable, I feel like, for IG, but at the same time, they didn't play poorly. They had really good Smoke of Deceit ganks coming out, and they did rather well with them. It just they couldn't get much done after those, and they were pretty much already in a hole even before they used those smoke ganks. So LGD, they just played their game, and when you play LGD's game, they're going to win more likely than not. So
yeah, LGD looking fresh right now, and we'll see them later on tonight. Up next will be Invictus Gaming versus CIS. So slightly easier opponents, but we'll see. CIS, the second place team for the TI4 Chinese qualifier, so potentially could give IG a run for their money. Should be interesting. That next match scheduled to get started about 20 minutes ago, so we're cruising right along here, guys. We'll have our next game coming up pretty quickly. I'm Zyori, this guy's Maut. Thank you for joining us here on the BTS2 stream for the Mars TV Dota Elite Invitational. We'll have a quick break, then we'll be coming up with IG versus CIS next. XSplit, why you crash? Oh no. Maut,
we lost.
Bad things are happening.
We lost. There we go.
Oh. Wait, no, that's right. There we go. Okay.